Okay everybody, welcome. As you can see here, I have yet another addition to the arcade. This time it's a little bit different from what we're used to seeing. It is an Arkanoid cocktail arcade machine. Now basically I got this on Craigslist for a fairly good price. It was fully working. The monitor is a K4900, but it's not the monitor that came in the cabinet. I actually had this monitor and took the one that came in here out because it had hold issues, and if you just tap on the glass, the screen would move a bit. So I went ahead and removed it, and I put the monitor that was in my Commando in here because it had a much better picture, and I wasn't using it in the Commando because the Commando has an LCD for the because I set it up for MAME. So I hope you guys can forgive me on that. But anyway, I adjusted it and it looks great. As you can see here, it's got a great picture, nice and sharp, no issues. So that's the monitor detail. Both the spinners have been completely rebuilt and re-greased, and they're nice and fluid and smooth, and they work perfectly. I've never used a spinner that as good a condition as these, and that's honest truth. Whether out in public or on location or any machine I come across where I have to use a spinner, basically Arkanoid or Breakout or games like that, the spinners have always been crap. Well, both of these have been rebuilt and re-greased, and they work great. So no issues there. Of course, the fire buttons work as well. But overall, the cabinet's in great shape. It needs a whole new control panel underlay. You can see how wrinkled and rippled it is. It needs a whole new underlay. But when I got this, it looked just like this, except the artwork was missing. What was on here before were Tron decals. There were Tron decals along the side here, because this used to be a Tron cocktail machine, and somebody at some point converted it to Arkanoid, but never changed out the control panel underlay. So what I did was I removed all the Tron decals, and I went ahead and just printed off using my little home inkjet printer here. I printed off the instruction decals that list what the different pills do for the Voss, and then I printed up these Arkanoid emblems or decals, if you will, and just cut them out with some scissors and stuck them underneath the glass, and they turned out a lot better than I expected. I'm still going to get a actual professionally printed control panel underlay, but until I get around to doing that, I went ahead and just did these for temporary. But you can see they still look great. I mean, it's better than having those Tron decals on there, so I'm not going to complain too much about these things, but they did turn out pretty well. And then as you can see here, you can see what these, let me go on this side. There we go. So you can see here that even printed out on my little home inkjet printer that they still look pretty good. So this side has new Lexan, but the other side it doesn't. I need to go ahead and replace that because the seller replaced this Lexan, but he didn't replace the other side. He didn't have time to do it before I called him and said I wanted to buy it from him. So this thing was kind of in rough shape on the inside. It only had one speaker. I added another speaker to it. This is a bootleg PCB. This is a bootleg of Arkanoid, so it doesn't have a free play option. So I went ahead and installed a credit switch right there. And there used to be a safety bar across here. You can see the hole right there. And the hole right there used to have a safety bar, so I'm not going to fill that with wood putty. I mean, this thing is you can see those 5 holes there, and it's not in the best of shape, but for what I paid for it and the functionality that it's going to serve, I'm happy with what it is and the condition it's in. But I had to add a credit button, and then of course the other side here I said needs new Lexan, but I'll get around to that at some point later. But you have a player 1 and a player 2 and then a fire button, but everything is in relatively good shape. So for what it is, I mentioned the inside I had to add a speaker because it only had one speaker on the other side, so I put a speaker on this side and wired it in parallel. Added the credit switch, and what else? Oh, there's a button, a power switch, way down here on the bottom on the underside. That was not hooked up, and the seller was just plugging it in the wall and unplugging it when he wanted to have it powered on and off. Well, I had to run the cable here into a power strip into the wall because I have 4 outlets back there and I have 4 machines here, so I had to run the power outlet, and I didn't like to have to crawl through there on my hands and knees and turn the switch on and off. So I went ahead and just wired up that switch down there for power. So now when I reach down there and hit that switch, there, see, it shuts off. So that's what I had to do also. So overall the machine's in pretty decent shape. I like how this artwork turned out, this temporary artwork, until I can get a new control panel underlay installed, because you can see how folded and wrinkled it is. But so that's a bit of an eyesore to me, but having this artwork on here that I printed out with my inkjet printer is at least a lot better than what it was, because it said Tron on the side and it was just a whole different game, and that was even more of an eyesore. So anyway, here it is, guys, Arkanoid cocktail arcade machine, and it is right smack dab in the middle here of the room between the two sides of machines. So it works out pretty well. Make a nice beer coaster for when I have friends over to play some arcade machines. So it is what it is. Thanks for watching, and one more machine for the collection.